You got kids, basically white kids, being discriminated against and told that they're privileged just for the color of their skin. We did some great reporting a few months back where, we reached out to several families that have been affected by these lessons. And, there's one family in particular. I don't remember what state or what the name of the family was, but it was a foster family, and they had this little girl who happened to be white. She used to grow up in super abusive homes. She talked about how she used to be forced to eat cat poop because her parents wouldn't provide her any food. And it was getting to a point, these CRT lessons in school, where, all of her friends before all this stuff happened to be minorities. Mm-hmm. And after they had learned all those lessons, she was no longer allowed to sit with her black and brown friends. They considered her to be a white oppressor, and they were, she was getting bullied at school. She was getting forced to eat by herself at lunch. That's the type of stuff that they're doing in schools. And so Republicans and conservatives, they've been exposing this stuff over the past, 2 years? And now it's like the biggest winning issue. And Democrats and Biden, they won't back off on it. They're like, no, we need to teach CRT. We need to teach gender theory. And it's like they want us to take over everything.
I think that's what's most incredible to me is that you saw this really, I thought, come to a head in the Virginia governor race when Glenn Youngkin won. This CRT, this parents' rights as far as teaching the trans and homosexual agenda in schools, all these sorts of things. You saw those issues not single-handedly, but hugely contribute to a win for
pretty
Glenn Youngkin.
Substantially.
Yeah.
They had a massive effect.
And so he wins, and at that point, I think, okay, maybe the Democrats are going to realize this isn't their strategy, and they haven't. They've doubled down on it. I mean, you see it in Florida with Disney. All these companies, all these leftist organizations, keep trying to force this both CRT and the trans agenda. And both those things are hurting them, and they're not learning. They just keep doing it over and over again.
Well, and for the past, handful, not quite a decade, but somewhere around there, amount of years, it seemed kind of hopeless that we were going to continue to head in this progressive direction in all of our cultural institutions. Schools were going to continue to get that way. Disney and entertainment was going to continue to get that way. But they're losing now. Disney is losing boatloads of money every day because people hate Disney for having a really weird sexual agenda that they want to teach kids about these ideas. It's not just not popular among conservative parents. It's not popular among, people that are quite liberal and pretty much everyone that's a centrist. So they're just, and they can't help themselves. They believe in this stuff. This is their religion, is this gender theory CRT stuff. And they're going to continue to push it. And I don't know. I'm guessing it's not going to back off until we take literally all of the branches of government, which it seems like we undoubtedly will. So.
I think another sign of how unpopular this is, in my mind at least, is you see the organizations that have stopped taking this sort of leftist approach are the ones that are kind of thriving. One that comes to mind to me is the NBA. I've been reading how the NBA's playoff ratings are up 18 to 20%, somewhere in there. And if you think about it, I've been watching a lot of NBA playoff games, and I haven't seen Black Lives Matter plastered all over the court. I haven't seen all this leftist stuff. They've just been playing basketball, and guess what? People are now watching it. Meanwhile, Disney is doubling down on this, and less people are watching Disney. So you just see that the consumer doesn't want this stuff forced down their throat, and when it's not, they want to watch that more.
And it's happening, it's happening all over entertainment. It's not Disney, There's all these leftist shows that they're like, well, we don't have to worry about the story as much as we do including as many queer LGBT plus characters as possible. Then nobody's watching those shows. They're getting canceled, and everyone's fleeing to, whatever's, apolitical. Mm-hmm. That's a really good observation about the NBA stuff. I watch a lot of basketball, and that's so true. It used to be the last couple of years that every commercial had a social justice message, between breaks, and at halftime they'd have all this stuff, and the players would be wearing all these signs that talking about social justice. And that's I haven't seen one thing, one example of that. I mean, every now and then there's a really stupid commercial they do.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a little bit sprinkled in there, but they've dialed it back quite a lot. Yeah. And I think that has a direct correlation to why their ratings are better than they were when they were forcing that stuff.